It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Okay, there we go. You're good.
And now that we're on the right side of each other, this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Wednesday, February 28th. Normally the last day of the month, but not this year. And this is what did I say? Oh, it is CarEdge. And your hosts are me, Ray, and Zach. Sorry about
I really threw him off there. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry, Pops. We're going to do shout outs here in just a moment. Again, if you want to have a shout out at the beginning of the show, just email me, Zach, Z-A-C-H, at caredge.com. Slippery slope. Before we do the shout outs, though, today's lead story, we're going to be talking about Jeep, Ford, and Ram. And in particular, we'll start with Jeep, Dad, their new CEO, a gentleman who goes by the name Antonio Filosa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Mr. Filosa. He's the new CEO of Jeep internationally, and he has come out in a recent public appearance and pretty much said everything we've been talking about. Prices are going to go down. We're going to care less about the Wagoneers, and we're going to rethink our EV approach. Before we do that, though, Dad, I got to give a few shout outs. Can I just give a few shout outs?
You give some in the beginning, give some in the middle, give some in the end.
Alexander Hernandez, he and his girlfriend, they watch us all the way from San Francisco every day, which we really appreciate. Cheryl Van Buren, Dad, they're in South Jersey in a small town called Westmont, and it happens to be Steve Schaffner, which I think is her husband, his birthday today. So happy birthday to Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve.
That was from Cheryl. And then, Dad, we also have David Shores, who tunes in every day. It's his 52nd birthday today, and I think David happens to be in New Jersey. So there you go. So we got some birthday shout outs here on the Ray and Zach channel. All right. So what do you make of it, Pops? You've got the new CEO of Jeep coming out and really making some aggressive moves, at least publicly saying they're going to cut prices. They're going to reduce the impact of the Wagoneer brand, and they're going to reassess their EV approach. What do you make of it?
Well, I make that somebody finally opened someone's eyes and said, okay, we've gone too upscale too fast. We've raised the prices without improving the quality. Actually, we raised the prices and lowered the quality, it came back to bite us. Go figure. They are pulling, in many cases, what Acura did when they brought out the I believe it was the 1999 or 2000 Acura 3.2 TL, which is they lowered the price significantly, like $3,000 or $4,000, while increasing the content with new incredible technologies that they hadn't included in their vehicles before. And well, that's what Jeep's doing. They're going to lower the prices on any number of vehicles. I think on the Cherokee, up to $4,000, $1,700 or $1,800 on the Gladiator. But while they're lowering the prices, they're actually adding equipment levels to any number of these, so that even in some cases where they don't lower the price, they've increased the content, and the value of that content is in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. So they're trying to come up with a way to make these vehicles, which everybody is in agreement are overpriced, they're trying to make them appealing again. And they're doing it in the only way that manufacturers know how, and that's by lowering the price.
Yeah, and I think this is the beginning of what will be a really, really, really tumultuous, I'll say 60 to 90 days for Jeep and Ram in particular. Dodge you can include in that, Chrysler as well. But Dad, sales are so slow. I actually had one of our dealer partners behind the scenes let me know yesterday they sold their first Dodge Hornet of the month.
Wow.
Last time I checked, it's the last day of the month tomorrow. I mean, so there are cars that are just sitting and not moving. And at the end of the day, someone has to step up. And we're seeing it a little bit. Like you said, some of the Jeep incentives, these are not incentives. These are actually MSRP reductions.
Yes.
The Grand Cherokee up to $4,000 off of MSRP. The Gladiator, an average of $1,700 off of MSRP that they're just taking off the MSRP. The Compass, $2,500. So we should anticipate, I think, Dad, on the Ram side and across the board to continue to see price reductions. And it's not just Stellantis brands. We're also seeing it with Ford. Obviously, you and I have carried conversations over the fact that the electric vehicles over at Ford have seen price reductions, the Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning. So I think the next 60 to 90 days are like a big wake-up call for these automakers, where we'll see even more incentives and MSRP reductions.
Yes, and part of the reason that they're doing it at Jeep is because they've lost market share. And one of the things that manufacturers fight over more than anything is market share. They all want to grow their market share. Well, Jeep grew it, and then they allowed it to slip backwards. And now they're about to find out how much it costs to regain it. It will cost them much more to regain it than it would have cost them had they maybe not tried to go so upscale so quickly to where they lost market share. So this is just executives that have been out of touch with what the public is willing to put up with. I know the theory: if we build it, they will come. If we build products that they don't want, we can still get people to buy them. That doesn't hold quite as true today as it did in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Yes, when you do build something that doesn't seem to have an audience, the only way you do tend to get rid of it is that, well, I don't know, you lower prices dramatically so that somebody can say, even though I would have never considered this, it is so cheap, I don't know how I could pass. And
Let me put you on
then,
the spot.
well,
Yeah.
1 second, and then once you hook that person, if the quality is suspect, that's the last time you're ever going to hook that person, because if the vehicle turns out to be a POS, then guess what? That customer's not falling for that BS in the future.
So let me put you on the spot, Dad. We've already seen over at Jeep, for example. I mean, we were looking at a deal just yesterday, Dad, that I think, if I'm not mistaken, on that Gladiator had probably around 15% OEM incentive, 15% off from the OEM from Jeep.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to get even crazier next month and into, April, May, June? Like, do you think we'll see 20% off? And I'll just share with you, I had a conversation last night with a general manager of a CDJR dealership, and he said he sure as hell hopes, because he doesn't see what the other path is. They need 20% off most all of their vehicles from Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram to move them. I feel like that's the inevitable outcome here.
Well, yeah, and it wouldn't be the first time, that manufacturers have had to offer 20% off, or, we've seen in some cases upwards of 25% off. That's what you do when you've built too much of something that there's no market for. It goes back to one of my favorite sayings. Typically, vehicles that have 0% interest available for them is because there is zero interest in the vehicle. So if the discount is 15% and sales, you haven't moved the sales needle enough, then yeah, you're probably going to have to go to 20% or 22.5% or 25%. You have to do something to create a market for those things when there is no market. Yeah, I would suggest that I forget who I was having a conversation with yesterday, and or maybe it was earlier today, and I if I were a CDJR dealer, I would be hoping that I could find somebody dumber than me to buy my dealership from me.
So I got to tell you, Dad, I was talking, we're going to have our a guest on the show tomorrow. So tune in for that at current dealer. I got to tell you, I think there's a counter argument to that, which would be, there's two outcomes here for, I'm going to say Ford and Stellantis.
Yeah.
One is the OEM's just going to not show up. They're not going to subsidize enough, and they're not going to show up. And then what's going to happen? You're going to see a lot of dealers go out of business, and you're going to see these cars just not sell. We all know there's no such thing as an unsold new car. Eventually gets sold, the price goes low enough, but like we'll see dealers go belly up. Or you'll see Ford and Stellantis step up so much that the cars actually start to sell. That's the rationale, I think, to be bullish on Ford and Stellantis, Dad, would be, do you really think they're going to walk away from operating in the United States? Probably not. They're going to step up and do the 20-25% discounts. Like I don't see the other choice is death. I don't think they're going to choose that.
Well,
they
no,
make enough profit to do it.
I don't think they would choose death either. But if it's going to take the manufacturer putting up a 20% discount and then the dealer having to eat into their margins with 5, 8, 10% more from the dealer.
Yeah.
And at this point, all you're doing is turning the metal and not necessarily turning a profit, but it's worthwhile to turn that metal to get rid of it, because if you continue to sit on it, the cost of sitting on it is so high, it's untenable. That still doesn't mean that it's a good time to be a CDJR dealer. It just means, okay, we're moving a lot of metal and we're not really making any money on it, and well, we know it's crap to begin with, so we are creating a lot of potential customers for our service department, and maybe we'll make money out of service, but I'm just telling you, if you have to. If it has to get this extreme for the manufacturer to do something to help move the brand that you're representing, why would you want to continue to operate with that brand when they've proven to you that only as a last resort are we going to do anything to help you?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a really, really good point. I think there's both sides to it.
Yes.
I imagine we will see them even at this moment of kind of last resort. They're going to come to that crossroads and they're going to choose the right decision, which are 20-25% discounts. I anticipate next month, Dad, they've got more new executives. So they're going to have to be aggressive. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I think I want to come here, if it's okay, to Al's comment. And we're going to jump to some of the kind contributions that have come in. Al saying Ram in Santa Clarita is offering me $22,000 off of MSRP on a Ram 2500. Still feel like they're overpriced. Original MSRP is $93,000. It's just so freaking expensive, man. It's like you're just starting from so high. I mean, I have no clue if $22,000 off. What is that out of $93,000?
It's 20%, about 25% off.
I mean, I think that's pretty good, but holy cow, it's a $93,000 truck, is it? That's insanity.
Is it pretty good as a percentage? It's pretty good, but if the MSRP has gone up 50% in the last 5 years on those vehicles, it still means that it's overpriced. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's another 5% more that you can get off. It just means that even at 25% off, you're looking at now a $70,000 truck, which is still overpriced. But that $70,000 truck is pretty close to what the average transaction price is for Ram trucks.
Yeah.
That, to me, is more concerning than, getting 25% off. The fact that you have to give 25% off because it's so overpriced to begin with. And how many people, bless Al, but how many people can afford to spend $70,000 plus fees? And fees in California are pretty damn expensive because the tax rate's pretty high. So how many people can afford to spend $70,000 plus fees, and fees are going to add what, 10%? So you're back up to $77,000 out the door. And, most people I know aren't stroking a check for that. So let's say they're financing. My goodness gracious, that payment's going to be astronomical. How many people can literally afford to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that many people.
No, I completely agree with you. Because the payment's probably $1,500-$1,600 a month. That's insane.
You know, if
Most people can't
if you,
afford that. I can't
yeah,
afford that. I don't think you
yeah.
can afford that. That's a lot of money, man.
Well, you know, if you do it for what 72 months, maybe it's $1,400 a month. I'm guessing at $20 1,000, at 77,000. You know, it's got to be over $1,400 a month. Um,
I'm telling you, I'm expecting big things here in March. I don't know. I still think 25% off sounds pretty doggone good, but I hear you loud and clear. Let's come here to the chat. Pops from Donald.
Hey,
Donald,
Donald,
thank you for the
thank you.
kind contribution. Love your show. Very knowledgeable and quite entertaining. Really appreciate that, Donald. Very kind of you. We've
I
got
think
here,
that's
Dad,
part of the
from
plan, isn't it? To try and be entertaining and educational.
every once in a while. From Jose
Yeah.
Diaz. Jose, thank you for the kind contribution as well. So stoked that you're coming to Puerto Rico. Our family vacation this year is to Puerto Rico. Very excited. Thank you, Dad, for coordinating that. It'd be fun to see you comparing our car market to the rest of the states. I'll bring a GoPro. I'll bring a
Yeah.
GoPro and see what we
Yeah.
can learn
Yeah.
while we're down
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico.
Jose, it would just be fun to maybe see you. We're staying in the Arecibo area. You know, if you can suggest some restaurants and stuff that that the kids and I need to go visit, please feel free to shoot us an email. You can shoot it to me, Ray, R-A-Y, at CarEdge.com, or Zach, Z-A-C-H, at CarEdge.com. One of the things that I am desperate to do, and maybe you can help me find out where and how, I want to go horseback riding on a beach. And I, you know, Dara was asking me about that the other day. Have you figured that out yet, Dad? I said, not yet. So, Jose, any suggestions would be appreciated. Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely love that. And then, Dad, from Matthew
Yeah,
Hoskin. Thank you,
thank you.
Matthew. Drove by Carl Malone Ford in Haley, Idaho, while
Skiing, yeah.
while skiing in Sun Valley. Lots of cold, lonely Ford Mustang Mach-E's out front. Please do days supply 83333 for the zip code, I think. All right, let's put it to the test, Pops. Here we go. We are on caredge.com. I clicked on car search up at the tippy top. I'm going to put in, what was that zip code? 8 and then 4 threes, I think.
8 and a bunch of threes.
We're going to go Ford. We're going to go Mach-E. We're going to go new. And now we're looking at Carl Malone Ford. I'll click on this first one here. 125 days on the market for this one. I'm going to scroll down. Any guesses before we look at it, Dad? What the days supply is the industry measure.
I'm guessing is 346 day supply.
Only 150 for the premium all-wheel drive.
Wow.
All right, so let's go back real quick. So that's for that trim. California Route 1. Let's see what the day supply for the California Route 1 is. This one they've had for 208 days. 158 days supply. There's just not a lot of volume of these.
Yeah.
Let's try one more, maybe a lower. Oh, yeah,
Lucky,
the GT.
Yeah, well, they've got a few.
There you go.
360 days. Jeez.
I can't imagine Mach-E's selling well in the winter in Idaho. That's just
in Utah.
In Utah, excuse me, in Utah.
Yeah. Or in Idaho for that matter, but you know.
Look at these price points, man.
Yeah.
Holy
and
cow,
they don't qualify for a $7,500 federal tax credit, so bad news bears.
Expensive. No wonder Ford has had to jump in and cut the prices on those and offer all sorts of incentives, kind of back to the original story that we were talking about. It's just insane how expensive they've gotten. And now the automakers obviously have to step up. Now, there is some good news, Dad. I'll pull this up on the screen. JD Power, put out their latest data. Average new vehicle transaction price has dropped to $44,045, a $4,700 drop in the past 2 months. It's also pushing down used car prices. So this is good news. I mean, amidst all the changes that we're seeing in the market, we do have some downward pressure, almost $5,000 in average transaction price decline just over the first 2 months of this year. Do you think that's a trend that we'll continue to see throughout 2024?
Well, I just read earlier today that the markets have accepted the fact that the Fed probably will not drop interest rates more than 75 basis points this year. So that means interest rates for auto loans and such are still going to remain high. So the way around that for dealers and customers is for the average transaction price to drop. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that continue. Now, that's an independent source. So you can't, as a customer, say that prices aren't coming down. I know they're not in your neighborhood, but you can't say that the prices aren't coming down when they've dropped $4,700 in 2 months. They're coming down. It doesn't mean that the dealers still aren't asking too much, but
Yeah.
what they ask and what they settle for oftentimes are two completely different things.
100%.
That's what you have to remember. So, yeah, you might
I will
see
mention,
advertised prices remain high, but the ultimate selling price is much less than that advertised price.
and it also goes the other way around as well. Michael here in the chat saying, I just got back from a Toyota dealer asking about a new Land Cruiser, and they told me they're adding $10,000 onto the sticker before add-ons. I guess they will be the next. They will be the next collector model. Yeah, there you go. So it can go both directions, right?
Yes.
We know there's misleading advertised prices. I will say, CarEdge.com. We have a Toyota dealer in the network now, gang. If you're in the market for a Toyota, even Siennas and things like that, if we can get our hands on it, which we have some in inventory, we'll get it shipped and delivered to your door. So please take advantage of that, because even on some of the previously more rare models, there are opportunities. And I think the best deal in the market right now, Dad, is a Toyota RAV4, $1,000 under MSRP, 4.99% financing through Toyota Financial Services. Probably the best deal I can think of on the market right now.
Well, I do believe you can still get up to 0% financing on some Mazdas. I
Yeah,
think the
you're right.
CX-30 and the CX-50.
I wonder if they'll run that, because like they keep ending it at the end of each month and then bringing it back in the middle of each month. So right now on the CX-30 and CX-50, there's 0% financing. They'll probably get rid of it on Friday when we get into the new month, and then they'll
Yeah,
probably bring it back 2 weeks later, because that's what they've been doing. At least that's what they did in January and
they
February.
they they very well might, but I would much prefer to get 0% interest for 60 months than 4.99. And my guess is that you can still work a discount on those Mazdas.
We have a much bigger pre-negotiated discount on the Mazdas than on the Toyotas, so that is true. But yeah, I mean, there's still good options out there. I guess the point being, to your assessment of these independent third parties are saying transaction prices are going down. We're even seeing it in our neck of the woods. Doesn't mean you still don't see dealers doing crazy stuff,
Yes.
but you should be able to find a dealer that isn't. And even we're starting to find those dealers and being able to bring those deals, bring those deals to the community. All right, you want to switch gears just a little bit? Oh, go for it.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say it is the reality is setting in for all concerned that pricing has to come down. It always has been, always will be, will continue to be an affordability issue, and with higher asking prices and higher interest rates, something's got to give. Typically, it's both pricing and interest rates that get subvented in order to make it give.
Yeah, 100%. Let's switch gears. We haven't talked about used car prices in a while. We'll cover this in more depth tomorrow. Got a new Carvana offer, Pops, on your old 2020 Mini Clubman. This is your old vehicle that you used to have.
Yes,
It tanked,
it
man.
did.
Carvana is saying that its value went down nearly 14% in the past month. I was kind of shocked when I saw this. You know me, Dad. CarEdge.com/sell. I've already
Yeah.
plugged in the VIN, the mileage, and the zip code. What do you think? Do you think Carvana is going to be the high offer here?
No, I think CarMax will be higher because CarMax is the largest purveyor of pre-owned minis in the country.
All right, let's see here. CarEdge.com/sell. You get offers for free from multiple dealers in your area. Stand by here, folks. Let's see. Again, I was shocked when I saw this, Dad, that the price went down
Yes.
$3,000 that Carvana is willing to pay to purchase your old Mini Clubman. And here you go, actually. Interesting. CarMax
Wow.
didn't return an offer initially. So you have actually Carvana as the high watermark right now, with Car Gurus being the only offer we can get on this. I wonder if there's more and more of these dealer groups that are like getting away from some of the algorithmic offerings and things like that. I'm curious.
Could be. I'm glad I got rid of it when I did, huh? Of course, it was a lease, and I gave it back to get my new lease, but they made a lot of money on it when they resold the car.
Definitely. But it is interesting to see. We're seeing a lot of volatility because just the other day we were talking about Carvana offers going up like crazy. Obviously, it's brand specific and it's region specific.
And
We're going to see that volatility.
And one of the other reasons for that on a Mini would be the fact that it's well out of warranty. And they are typically extremely expensive to maintain. And traditionally, as soon as that warranty runs out, crap breaks.
No wonder you lease yours. I think it's becoming very,
Yes.
very clear why you do that, Pops.
Yeah. You know,
Well, we had another
what do you think about me on a Vespa?
I don't want you to fall off.
Okay, a Vespa with training wheels.
A Vespa with training wheels, I can see. Yeah, you're torn between a Vespa and a Mazda. You're an interesting man, Papa Shepska. Let's address this quickly here, Dad, from Paul. Paul, thank you. Sorry for the chat the other day. Do you have a timeline for the Hyundai dealer you wanted to bring on? I live in Florida, and I know Florida is gross. We have a Hyundai dealer. We have a Hyundai dealer in the CarEdge network behind the scenes. So let me explain how this works. Paul, hopefully we can help you, man. I mean, I know we're shipping out a Hyundai from that dealer just today, a Hyundai Santa Fe to a new customer. You go on CarEdge.com. You can scroll down here. Tell us what vehicle you're interested in. Or if you want to circumvent this, you can obviously email me and I'll loop in the appropriate people on the team. Zach, ZACH at CarEdge.com. Tell us what you're interested in. And then behind the scenes, we'll match you to whatever available inventory we have in the CarEdge network. We'll give you an OTD, an out-the-door quote for that vehicle with our pre-negotiated CarEdge price. And then if you decide that you want to move forward, there's no pressure. If you decide that you want to move forward and purchase your vehicle through CarEdge.com, we'll then work with you to collect the appropriate information that has to get into the dealer's hands so that you can then e-sign your paperwork, and then we'll have the vehicle shipped to your door. That's the process. There's no F&I manager. There's no salesperson. Nothing like that. So we have a Hyundai dealer. We do have free shipping, or we cover 700 miles worth of shipping from that Hyundai dealer. So there could be, Paul, for you, a little bit of a shipping charge, but nothing astronomical. And it's a lot of moving pieces. So that's why you got to talk to our team. We're working on making this tech enabled so that you don't have to talk to our team as much, but it's going to take time. And Pops, you did get a haircut, didn't you?
Good catch, Mark. I did indeed get a haircut. Steve wasn't available, so Phil filled in, and I think he did a reasonably good job because it's not like I give him much to work with. So,
you look good. You look good.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
Hey, Dad, we had an incredibly thoughtful contribution come in here from Robert. Robert, thank you for sharing this with us. How long can Ram avoid fixing a recall? Looks like there's a high-pressure fuel pump issue. Since I purchased it used from a Hyundai dealer in 2022, still no fix. It's devaluing my truck now. Holy cow, man. How long can the OEMs punt on fixing a recall?
Until the recalled part new part is available, I guess they can punt as long as it takes. I wouldn't feel good about that, but it is what it is.
So that's really just waiting on the OEM to have the part produced, shipped out.
Yes.
Have you dealt with that before in your career?
Many times.
What was the longest you remember having to wait to get a part for a recall?
I don't know, 5-6 months. Where you waited for the fix. Yeah. There were, when I was 6-7 years ago, when I was still doing this, there were some BMWs on the BMW side of our business that had warranty issues that there were no fixes for. And BMW just did trade assists and put them in another brand new vehicle.
Wow.
Because the car was inoperable.
Well,
And
if you
there
bought
was
it
no
used,
fix.
obviously that's
Yeah,
not a solution. But wow, that's wild. You
yeah,
literally had a recall go on for so long that you just got the people out of that car and into new ones.
yeah,
Whew, not a good
yeah.
look.
I keep trying to tell you, the car business is a unusual business.
It really is. Hey, folks, friendly reminder, tomorrow, excuse me, is the last day of the CarEdge end of month sale. So that means a few things. Extended warranty products, we have $150 off of those. Please, please, please don't give us a slack for selling a vehicle service contract, colloquially referred to as an extended warranty. We're trying to do it differently. You can get a free quote. You can view all of the contract and coverage details online. No robocalls, no spam. So before you give us a hard time about doing that, it helps us fund the business. And for a lot of people, they find value in it. So please go check it out. It's cheaper typically than what you would find at a dealership or on the other third-party websites. And then under services, CarEdge Concierge. If it's a vehicle that's not in the CarEdge dealer network, we can concierge it for you. It's like a white glove broker service. We have consultation calls where you can meet with our team if you're maybe wondering which vehicles to purchase or reviewing OTD quotes. CarEdge data, all the information you need to help you make an informed decision while you're negotiating your purchase. And CarEdge Coach, get help from Justice and that team, Ashley as well. Behind the scenes, Debbie as well. Behind the scenes there via chat in your back pocket. It's kind of like having my dad with you to help you navigate your car deal. Really proud of all the various resources, tools, and solutions we have back on CarEdge.com. And there's discounts on all of it because it's the end of the month, and I am no better than anyone else. End of the month's a great time to have a promotion. So we do it, folks. Take advantage of it, pretty please. Aren't you proud?
I am. You were getting so good at these segues and these pitches. But
We got to pay the bills, man.
Yeah, but you're doing what needs to be done. I mean, aside from being entertaining and informative, well, we actually have a business to run. And this, what we garner from YouTube, although it
Appreciate you, Ashley.
substantial, it is not enough to keep the whole thing going.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You've got a meeting you have to get to.
I got to jump. We'll be back tomorrow. We have a guest. We actually have Dan LaGrange from Key Auto Group joining us tomorrow. So we'll have his perspective on what's going on with Stellantis. We'll have his perspective on what's going on with the used car market. So we'll have a nice industry insider on with us tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Enjoy the afternoon, Pops. I know I'm feeling a little run down. Wednesdays are usually my tough days. So I'm hopeful that by this afternoon, I can kind of decompress a little and enjoy a restful night. So I'm hoping the same for you too.
Absolutely. I hope you feel better. Get some rest. Stop running around so much. And I'm excited and looking forward to seeing you, Laura, Dara, and Zach on
3
Saturday.
days, baby.
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Can't wait, Dad.
Yeah, me too. I love you, handsome. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too, Pops. See you guys. Thank you for being here.